Hello, today's date is February 26, 2008. It's about 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to talk about my workout for today. I actually did very, very well. I burned approximately 1,350 calories, give or take a few. I ran 11.56 miles, and I ran for 80 minutes. 0 to 8 minutes, 8 miles per hour, 8 to 30 minutes, 8.7 miles per hour, 30 to 35 minutes, 8 miles per hour, 35 to 50 minutes, 8.7 miles per hour, 50 to 65 minutes. I did cluster sets of 3. I alternated. I started at 10 miles per hour for 1 minute, and then I did the next 2 minutes at 8.7 miles per hour, and I repeated that 4 more times. Then I ran 65 to 80 minutes, the remaining time on there, and I did the same thing, only I ran 10 minutes for the first minute and 8.0 miles per hour for the second minute. And I was going to try to do 8.7 miles per hour and do it the whole 30 minutes for that remaining 30 minutes starting at minute 50, but it was just too strenuous. Technically, let me tell you what this workout that was required of me. I skipped it yesterday, but I kind of did some other stuff. I was supposed to run the first minute at a 7:36 per minute pace. And then for the next 6 miles, I was supposed to do a 6:52 pace. Now this is where it gets hairy. They wanted me to run a 6:06 mile for 18 minutes straight for 3 miles. And then finally, the finale was to run the last mile at a 7:36 pace. It's a total of 11 miles. Here's the problem with the run right now. First of all, I want to say that I cannot consistently run a 10 mile per hour pace for 18 minutes straight in my runs. And I'm going by this is the Rick Morris, runningplanet.com sub 3 marathoner. It's how to do a 3-hour marathon, 3 hours and 0 minute marathon. So, you know, it's a lot of work. I mean, a lot of this stuff, I want to say it's arbitrary, but I don't want to argue with Rick Morris because he's a 30-year veteran or 20-something-year veteran of 25-year veteran or so of running and training. So I'd be a fool to argue with him. And I don't know the guy personally, but he put together 16 different manuals for how to run these marathons in all these 10-minute incremental times. And so I've been following his book, you know, and I think it's a great thing to set a goal to at least follow a template. In other words, I'm not just arbitrarily deciding, well, I don't want to run 20 miles today, so I think I'll just run 6 miles. He's setting the pace for this thing, and I'm following it. But I'm finding out that despite the fact that he's got a very structured thing about it, it's just not working that I can keep up with it. I can't keep up with the fact that I can't run I can easily run a 7:36 per minute run, and then I can run at 8.7 or 8.8 miles per hour. That's a 6:52 pace. 6:52 pace. I can do that easily. But then he starts to jump up and says, do this for 3 minutes straight. I can't do it. And so I've decided that, okay, just modify it. That's all you can really do is just modify it. So I'm modifying it, I'm making it happen, and that's all I'm going to do. And I'm not going to sit there and beat myself up over this stuff because it just irritates me. I'm thinking, I'm real proud of myself that I'm pushing myself because I'm following a structured plan. And before, I want to point something out. I said this before. I bought the Rick Morris 3-hour and 10-minute marathon plan, and I started to follow it, but I gave up on it, and I still ran 2 marathons, and I came within like 2 minutes on the second marathon of making the 3-hour and 10 minutes. I did like a 3:11:47 was my score. I totally ignored the plan. I did half of what was required, so I don't want to get religiously caught up in this idea that if I don't do everything exactly the way Rick Morris says it in the thing, it's not going to work. Rick Morris even says that if you don't follow everything just like exactly this, it's not going to be the same. Or I'm reading the prelude to the manual, or the introduction to the manual. I don't want to get obsessed with this fact that I got to do everything exactly the way it says, because everything is, I try to use this as an analogy. I went to a Cleveland Browns game in 1984. I was like 14 years old. Morton Anderson, who's still kicking field goals, Missed almost every freaking field goal in practice kicking toward the bleachers. And guess what? That SOB beat the Cleveland Browns and with no time remaining on the clock with a 53-yard field goal. I remember Bum Phillips jumping up. I was shocked. This guy he missed almost every field goal in practice, but then the guy beat us. So this idea that I got to do everything exactly the way it is in the book, I'm going to stop beating myself up and I'm going to follow 90% of it. And I guarantee as long as I don't break an ankle or fall on the ice or something bad happen, I'm going to do a sub 3-hour marathon, okay? And that's the fact, Jack. I know I'm a little emotional here. On another note, I did fall off the wagon yesterday, and I went 17 days without drinking beer, and I drank 4 16-ounce beers yesterday. And I actually had one now, but I'm not buzzed really. I've no big deal. I mean, I've got almost 2 months, a little less than 2 months before the marathon. I'll be way off it by then. But I just felt, hey, I was stressed out about my job situation or lack thereof, and so I just said, okay, go out there and go out and get a couple beers or something. So I'm not, getting bummed out about this, but I'm trying to get to this point where I'm saying that if you ever go to runningplanet.com and you set the goal that I'm going to run a 3-hour and 40-minute marathon, and you don't meet everything exactly the way Rick Morris has it laid out in that plan, that it doesn't mean you can't meet that goal. I think that if you can do 80 to 85% of that and just kind of modify the workout, you can still reach your goal. Like I said, I've almost made a 3:10 marathon, and I probably did about half of the requirements of what Rick Morris put in his book. So I'm just saying that it's totally, I'm getting kind of emotional about this because I'm beating myself up thinking, I got to do this, I got to do it exactly the way the book says, and if you don't do it, you're behind schedule. You're not behind schedule, Steve. And I'm telling that to you guys that are watching this video. I'm not behind schedule. Everything's working out the way I want it to work out. And I'm proud of myself, and I'm gonna high five myself. I can't because I got my camera in my hand right now, but I'm not gonna get beat up about this, and I'm not gonna beat myself up about this. It's just ridiculous. So that's the story for today, and today's date is February 26th, 2008. It's about 11:08 p.m. EST, and thanks for listening to my ranting here, and I'll let you know how my job search is going, but in the meantime, I think I'm going to pass on subscribing to Runner's World magazine because I'll be that minority that is in poverty, and I won't be the person that's got the money. Like, it's like it was mentioned in the last blog or a couple blogs ago that there's an $80,000 a year average salary of the subscriber that subscribes to Running World. Enough of my ranting. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.